So, in this episode, I'm not going to be talking about politics or science or philosophy or vlogging in Dawson College. I'm going to be talking about that 70s show and what I thought of the eighth season and the finale and in general about the show. So, I absolutely love this show for many reasons. I think the dialogue is incredible, the jokes, the writing is terrific. I love the evolution of the characters. I love how it really, when you're watching the show, it feels like they really are friends, just having a good time together. You really do buy it. And also, I love so many different characters in the show, and as a whole, they work so well together, and the episodes are so interesting. It's a show that I could watch over and over again, as I have. In the eighth season, something changes. The main character, Eric Foreman, leaves. He leaves. He's not there until the final episode for the last 4 or 5 minutes. So that's a change to the show. Kelso also leaves 4 or 5 episodes into the eighth season, and that also does have an effect on the show. But first, I'm going to talk about why Eric leaving was not did not do well for the show. So Eric's the main character of the show, Foreman. He holds the whole show together. Red is always picking on him, and the other characters are picking on him, and he's the most relatable character. He's really the centerpiece of the show. What he's going through is what most people can relate to. So without Eric, it almost feels like the show feels missing. Like it literally feels like lost a bit. Yes, it was absolutely entertaining to watch, and I watched every single episode of the eighth season, laughed a lot, and enjoyed it, and I'll watch it again. But it felt almost nostalgic, a shadow of what it once was. And then Kelso leaving was it didn't help. It didn't help. It made things worse because he's a hilarious character, and without him, it makes the show more depressing. Yes, Hyde and Fez, Jackie, Donna, and the parents were great, and Leo coming back as well were great, but it wasn't enough. Now, there's another character introduced into the eighth season. If you haven't watched the eighth season, well, spoiler alert. The guy's name is Randy, played by it's Seth Meyers' brother. I think his name is Josh Myers, and he's a great character. He's a really funny guy. Got to like him. Very likable character. He did not replace Foreman, but he did a decent job at compensating for the less characters. Now, the thing with Randy is that you don't really get to know him that well. He was in maybe 18 episodes, but it felt like 4 or 5. The show went by so fast the eighth season that I never really felt like I got to know Randy. Even though he really was a good compliment to the show. Towards the end, he wasn't in the last episode. There wasn't great closure, and I would love to see Randy and Eric meet, and they didn't get a chance to meet. Also, the timeline in the show does not make sense, as many people have spoken about. It makes sense up until the third season, and then for 4 seasons, it's only from 1 year only goes by from 1978 to 1979, but they had so many birthdays between those 2 years. They had like 3 different birthdays, so it should be the year 1982, but it's only 1978. So that's another issue I had with the show. Not a huge issue, but it would have made more sense. Other problems I had with the show in the end, honestly, not too many. They still did a good job. Oh, the Jackie and Fez relationship I felt was kind of forced. Yes, it was like realistic in the end. It was a good idea, but they only started talking about that the last 10 episodes of the 5th season. I think that they should have introduced it in the beginning of the 8th season, or maybe even before that, towards the end of the 7th season. I know they didn't have much to work with, as Eric and Kelso they had other projects, so they decided to leave. Eric, played by Topher Grace, and Kelso played by Ashton Kutcher. They had other projects to do, so they didn't want to renew for an eighth season. They did well for what they had, but I felt like in the eighth season, the show didn't feel as good as it used to be. It felt like kind of a glimmer of what it used to be. But as a whole, I'm going to give the show out of 10 an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to give the eighth season a 6 on 10. Nothing against the new characters. Randy and Leo did a great job. I love them in the eighth season. They actually carried the eighth season, but it wasn't enough to keep the show at where it used to be. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. Leave a like, a comment. Let me know what you think. Thank you.